Record.
Yeah, so.
Is this a small package?
That's the adjustment, and that's the agenda right there.
What's that?
I'd like to call this meeting to order. In the absence of chair, I'll be taking a roll call. Chair Khalid is excused. Councilor Bragdon.
Present.
Councilor Danforth. Here. Councilor Madore.
Here.
Councilor McEwen.
Here.
Councilor Pierce.
Here.
Councilor Frey.
Here.
Can I ask everybody to remove their hats and stand for the pledge of allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the absence of the chair, I will be accepting nominations for pro chair temp. Are there any nominations? Yes, Councilor Danforth.
I nominate Councilor Madore.
Second.
Are there any other nominations? Seeing and hearing no other nominations. Thank you. It has been moved and seconded that Councilor Madore has been nominated for pro chair tem of this council meeting. All those in favor? 6-0, it is passed. So elected as pro chair tem of this council meeting, Councilor Madore, go ahead and take over your seat.
It's already on. Well, not anymore. Just turn it off. Turn it off. Thank you all.
So let's go with, we have, Mr. Manager, any adjustments to the agenda?
There was recommendation to move the appointment to school board. There was a recommendation to move the appointment to school board up to the front of the agenda.
Does anybody have, any reservation of moving that up to the front? As far as order, moving order 208 up to, the first order. So moved. Do I have a second? Any discussion?
Can you repeat the second of that, just for record, please?
All right, multiples, okay. It was moved by, Councilor McEwen and seconded by Councilor.
Thank you.
I'll give you a ball. Is there any discussion from the public? Yes, Mr. Councilor Gray.
I just want to state that all the individuals we interviewed, it was an interesting process, and obviously there's a number of individuals who expressed a great deal of interest in the community, and it wasn't necessarily an easy choice. I do think we picked a couple of very fine individuals to fill in. I believe they'll both be running this fall for that, but obviously the other individuals, if they so desire, have that opportunity as well. I do think it's important that we have a full board and that they move forward expeditiously. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other folks? Council comment? All those in favor of moving order 208 in front, please. Opposed? 6-0. Thank you. All right. Can I get an approval of the minutes for the 2022 executive session and the 7/21/22 executive session? Second. Moved by Councilor Pelletier, second by Councilor Bragdon. Any council discussion? Public? Back to the council, all in favor? Thank you. I guess if we have we have no special presentations, but we do have, we had some issues, shall we say, with the municipal pool. And we do have our recreation director with us here to give us an update, if it's agreeable to everybody. Yep, would you please? Oh, okay, we got back.
Well, Jody Nelson, Director of Recreation. I wish we were here under better circumstances. A couple of weeks ago, we started having a little bit of trouble with the filtration system. At first, we really weren't quite sure what was going on. The water would cloud up and the kids would swim. It was clear until they got in and started moving around, then it would get all cloudy and we couldn't see the bottom of the pool. So we had my pool man come up, and at first we couldn't quite figure out what was going on. So we just kept vacuuming it, and we got a few days out of it where they could swim. As time went on, it stopped working, the vacuuming, and you couldn't really see the kids in the pool. I literally watched the lifeguard jump in and I couldn't see him. So we had to close it. And then my pool man, Mr. Solinsky, came back up and we opened up the sand filter. We determined there was some sand in the pool, so we opened up the sand filter. And we saw, and I don't know if you can probably tell by this document right here, but sand is supposed to be totally smooth on the top of the sand filter, where water just trickles down and smooths out. We have big humps, and then back here, there's like a big void where there is no sand. So that itself requires that we have some damage inside the sand filter. There's laterals on the bottom. Mike can probably explain it better than I can. And we believe that there's damage in there. So our first initial plan was to take all the sand out and to change the laterals in the sand filter. But upon opening it and further investigation, we found there's rust inside the sand filter. It's coated with like a rubber substance, and that's missing in a lot of spots. We could get 5 years out of it. I don't know how long we'll get out of it. We could get a year, we could get 10. We really don't know. But we're going to be spending $15,000 to do that piece. Do you want to spend $15,000 2 years from now and have to buy a whole new sand filter? I guess so. That's what we're kind of looking at, direction from you guys and what you think you would like to go forward with.
Council, you doing?
So just to clarify, the entire estimated cost of a new system for replacement will be $89,000. And the temporary fix for 5 years will be roughly 15,000.
Yeah, but it could be a year. We don't really know how fast. Chlorine is really hard on product, so it could rust out faster than that because we have rust on both sides now. So I don't know how long it'll take to eat through. So I mean, that's just a guesstimate. Who knows? I don't know.
So I have two perspectives on this. One, my council perspective, and that is that I would think we should look to the full replacement cost since the pool is 15 years old and we want to get really maximize the life out of it. I think that's a good way to go. That's just my opinion. If we have some heartache and want to go for a temporary fix, I just think we might end up spending more in the long term than just getting the whole thing replaced. And the second piece is to the side of this, and is your local American Red Cross lifeguard instructor hat, which I don't often, bring out a lot, but I just want to applaud the department for taking the steps necessary to close the pool when it was obviously unsafe to swim. And I'd like to echo that to the community They took all the necessary steps as recommended by the American Red Cross to close that facility and not have children swim when it was unsafe to do so. So just an applaud from that standpoint. And thank you.
Thank you, Council Kenny, Councilman Two, and Council Craig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also agree that we ought to do with, I think in the long run is the cheapest is to do the full job. But I would like to have kind of a breakdown of the estimates that are here by category as to what those costs are. And is there a warranty with those services that, how long, is there any warranty or anything like that on this various amount of work?
I'm Mike Solinsky from Mike's Pool Service. I've been working with Jody for multiple years. I do primarily commercial pools all over New England. I have seen this scenario quite a few times, and I'll backtrack a little bit before I answer your question to help clarify. It's a steel tank. It has what they call a Flexerol lining. When we open the hatch, some of the Flexerol has started to deteriorate or detach from the steel and is gone, so it started rusting. So what's going to happen quickly, and like Jody said, might be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, but once that lining is separated and the water starts getting between the lining and the steel, it's going to rapidly start to rust through. So your comment about, you could go 2 or 3 years or next year or 10 years, but eventually it is going to wear out. So your cost would be almost doing it twice. Breakdown. This is the cost of the filters, and then the demo, and then the replumbing, and then obviously the startup. I just threw together, I shouldn't say throw together, I put together a package based on very similar situations. We just did one in Bucksville, almost identical. We did one a year before that at Colby Sawyer College in New Hampshire. Identical filters, both identical installs. Unfortunately, in today's world, prices are going up, up, and up. So I came up with a very firm price of $89,000. The filters themselves, please don't hold, were roughly $60,000. The demo and the labor, and then all the piping parts and stuff was the remaining balance. So I can get a more definitive once I get back to my office.
And I'm supportive of doing the maximum to make sure that we get the longest life out of that pool. It's a significant investment by the community, and it's important, obviously, to those who use it during the summer. And I think we need to make sure that we're going to have it ongoing. The second part of my question was, what type of guarantee or warranty do you put on your service?
With the steel tanks, the round steel tanks, is very common. But the problem with them is they start to rust out. I'm proposing to replace with fiberglass filters. Come with about a 25 or a 30-year prorated warranty. But us in the pool world say, we really don't know when they will wear out. They just hold up that well. So you're going to get at least twice the life out of them as a steel tank. I don't know of any places that put in steel tanks anymore. That was common back then, but not so much now.
What's the average life of the filter system?
The filter system,
Well, it's the filters that created the problem, and I understand obviously part of that is the rest of it's rusting out. But how often do they replace these filters?
if there's an issue with the pump, you can get water hammer, which makes the pipe shake. You could break the part or similar to that. I have a picture. That's when you look at, it's what the old filter laterals look like. They're the main pipe that goes in, and then there's laterals here, and there's little slots in the bottom where the water goes through that's filtered and clean. Could be any one of these that have broken, or this main trunk that broke. Unfortunately, Jody said, well, let's replace the one that's broke. you could look at it and not see the hairline crack, but when it's running and pressurized, that crack can open up. So we end up, if we're gonna fix it, I don't think we're going to, we replace all the laterals. So that's a big expense here. So you take the filter sand out, there's no guarantee that that's gonna fix the problem. And the reason I say that is because that flexural lining is starting to go. So it's kind of two things you gotta address.
One of the reasons that I asked that question is it advisable to replace those filters on a regular basis versus waiting until you have a problem?
With the newer fiberglass filters, periodically you replace the filter media or the sand that's in them. When you put sand in a filter, it's got sharp edges. Over time from doing its job, it rounds over, so it doesn't pick out the dirt and the particles as well. So on an average 10 to 15 years, we replace the sand in them. And
Thank
then-
you.
Yeah, so.
Thank you, Councilor Craig. The other Councilor Craig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have two questions for the manager. Would ARPA funds be able to be used to pay for this?
I have to look into that and verify, as it's a new expenditure that come up unexpected after the money had been distributed from the American Rescue Plan Act. I think most of it has to, most of the spending categories have to do with, prior impacts of COVID-19. So, I mean, there may be some wiggle room there. I think we do have options to look at paying for it. I would certainly also be on the side of replacing it entirely. I would need a little bit of time to identify that amount of funding.
Second question is, does the time length replace the entire system?
I checked with my manufacturer. They say the production has increased greatly compared to a couple years ago with all this COVID going on. He said about a 3 to 4, maybe a 5-week lead time to get the filters once the order is placed. So that's not a bad turnaround time. They come out of this Mississippi or somewhere down that way at their manufacturing plant. I chose the brand, the THS's Pentaires, because I've had very good luck with those. I have great support from that company as well.
Okay, Councilor. Councilor Pelletier and then Ms. Manager.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards placing the system. But I have a question regarding original sand. That's steel. How many years have had that system in operation?
Yeah, 15 years is it was brand new.
That's how old it is now?
Yes.
15 years. And what's the price difference between that fiberglass steel system?
I didn't price out a new steel tank. The fiberglass ones are so much easier to work with. Literally 4 people can pick them up and empty and put them on wheels and move them around. Steel one would be machinery and lifts and to get it in and out of the existing room.
Okay, Councilor Pelletier, Ms. Manager.
So there was some discussion on a possible temporary solution to get us through the end of the summer. Is that a possibility?
It is a possibility. I'm not guaranteed it'll work. We could put a series of smaller diatomaceous earth filters on to help filter out the particles that the main filter's not getting. We still have to run the big one so we can operate the chlorination system and keep the water clear, because that's all set up with that. But we can put a couple, if not 3 temporary. It's basically like a residential pool filter. I don't know if you guys have filters or not. Diatomaceous earth. It takes out the particles very well. we can set up portable ones and run them when the pool's not in operation. And from the schedule that Jody told me, very, very doable, because there's only some days they're only open 4 or 5 hours, so we'll run them the rest of the 20 hours per day. They'll be on wheels, move them around. We could even set one up inside the filter room to help the big filter get by until the end of the season. So there, that is a possibility.
I think that we can identify the funding, you know, within the next couple of weeks, and that that obviously would put us past the end of the swimming season. Anyways, so if we have access to a temporary option, and then we can identify the funding and get that in place to put the order in, you know, either have the work done in the fall or, you know, in the early spring. I think it's doable. It would be great if that was an option we could make happen. Temporary fix for the remainder of the season.
We can work on that, and we can operate them for 2 or 3 days and see how it works with the clarity of the water. It's a state code, so.
Councilor Dan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Most of my
Questions have been answered because it had to do with the timeline. And was there some sort of temporary fix? And basically, I think my question would be for Jody as rec director, knowing that there's a couple of weeks left of the pool season, like what have you're planning around use of the pool or swim lessons, or I've heard different conversations around our kids going to East to use the pool. So if you just speak to that, thank you.
We did try to move the swimming lessons down to East, but our lifeguards don't all drive, so that didn't work. And they were on Facebook. We did welcome everybody from Millmarket to go to East to swim while we were down. If we can get it running for a couple more weeks, I think it'll be good for a couple of reasons. The kids that are looking for employment lose 3 weeks of their paycheck. And of course, the community would really love to see their pool. There are some that can't really get to East to swim. So if we can pull it off, it's a little bit more work, but it's only for a couple of weeks, and I'm sure we can manage what we have to manage to do it.
Okay. Mike, I wanted to ask, the temporary fix, what would the cost be for just being able to?
I'm gonna let Jody answer that.
Okay, what would be the cost for the temporary fix, just so we could continue the pool until designated time?
He told us there would be no cost.
I like it.
It's just a matter of hooking them up, and we have them. Putting them on a set of wheels, wheel around, and it's her crew that's gonna do most of the work. So for me, it's all about the kids, and then, because I'm obviously not from Millmarket, but it's all about the kids of the community. So that's a minor cost
Okay.
to see the kids be happy, so.
I
I've done it
appreciate-
in other communities, so.
Very much. So are we in agreement? Councilor Craig.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I heard the manager correctly in reference talking about funding. In reference to that there's a temporary funding and then utilization of other funds. Is that what you were implying?
No,
Okay,
the temporary solution is no funding.
right, no, I understand that, but
Incredible gesture from Samantha.
my concern in reference to the ARPA funds, if we were going to go there, I don't think the ARPA funds can be used to repay something that we've used other municipal monies for. So we have to either use it directly to do the pool.
That's correct.
Thank
We
you.
also need to verify if it would be a proper expenditure.
I agree.
Councilor McEwen.
Just to bring into the conversation, we did pay off the pool. Finance.
Yeah.
Our debt service is a little low, and granted, this is under $100,000. If it was a thing where we did need to spread this out maybe over 5 years, it would be a minimal impact on the budget. So just a thought as well.
Are you saying you want me to increase the price?
Nope, too
That's
late.
not what I was implying, but
Sorry, I
So
got it
that
right
is
here. I
something
can't.
we've discussed briefly.
So just to recap, we are in agreement to take Mike up on his offer to do the temporary fix for the pool for the remainder of the summer. And hopefully that takes. And then we are in agreement on moving forward, instructing the manager to come up with funding sources to be able to replace the filtration system as stated here and with Mike's estimates and that. Okay.
If you, excuse me, if you would like a reference, contact Sue Lassard at Town of Oxford. Because we did almost.
I know, Sue.
Yeah, we did almost identical scenario, same filters, same scenario. We actually, their filters, we actually attempted to do a fix a couple of years ago, and it didn't work. So we ended up replacing the filters.
To me, it makes total sense to go ahead and I think the expenditure, if we can get another 20 years out of, or so out of that pool system. And Council McEwen is right, we just got that paid off. So, yeah, I think that's the way for us to go. And Mr. Manager, I look forward to hearing from you as far as working with Jody to come up with solutions to get that taken care of. And we'll move forward. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. All right, let's go ahead and move down to the manager's report.
Thank you all. As usual, my report is available here in the packets. It's also on the website and meeting material has been published for several days. So I will skim through it. It'll be the first time in 2 months that we've done department updates as well, given the topic and length of recent meetings. We're unable to get that far into it. So we recently had recently completed the LED lighting upgrade at the transfer site. That work was hired out to Adam Millett at Millett Electric. Adam had helped us navigate some very huge cost savings through Efficiency Main to keep that project affordable. And the improvement will drastically decrease the energy costs moving forward. It's actually the second upgrade that Adam has done for us, second out of 3 that we have in line. So he had replaced all the lights in the Public Works garage recently. And then the transfer site. And if you've been in there recently, you notice the difference literally of night and day. The lighting is incredible in there. The visibility has increased tremendously. And then over the winter, Adam will be back to come through our municipal building with Efficiency Main as well, to replace the lights through here. And, again, drastically decrease the energy costs moving forward. And the deal with Efficiency Main also comes with some major rebates. So the cost of the install is substantially decreased, to the tune of $7,000 or $8,000 for that project specifically. We were planning to talk about the pool at this point in time. We can skip over that. I wanted to talk about the ARPA survey recently, or this evening. So over the month of June, we conducted a survey through the community to allow community members to weigh in on the spending of the American Rescue Plan Act funding. This was at the direction of the council to receive as much community feedback as we could. And so in total, we received 264 responses. That was between physical surveys and the online version that we used as well. The top 5 spending categories that received recognition from the community members, in order of most responses or most votes are number one, fixing roads and road repairs. 2 is preventing or responding to violence. Number 3 answer was equipment for the fire department. Number 4 was behavioral health care, and number 5 was compensation for fire EMS crew. We had used a graph to show the weight of these votes. I'm going to screen share. So you can see here, out of the total votes that were presented, how heavily weighted on this chart, given the input from our community themselves, how heavily weighted the fixing roads and road repairs category within ARPA spending was. And then you can see the rest of those categories dwindling since then. I'd like to thank our initiatives director for helping to move that along as well. She created the survey and helped circulate and gather all the data from it that she could. A couple of pieces of good news in here. We had worked recently, myself, the Public Works, to support a project with the Katahdin Gear Library, our neighbors right next door, Mr. Jackson's building. They had been very graciously donated a, it's called a pump station or a trailhead workstation for mountain bikes. The donation came from the Northern Forest Center. So what we did was remove one of the benches from GNP Park, which is between our 2 buildings, and allowed them the access to mount this unit to the wall. So what it is I can pull up a picture here so everybody can see what these are. So we move back. You can see here, this is a image of the park itself. Right over here is where the bench was removed. And so this is the unit itself. You can see it's a place where you can hang your bike, buy your bike seat, and anybody in the community who needs to can come up to this unit and have access to all the tools needed to repair their bike. So these are all the tools kind of hanging by those chains. And then this is what it looks like when you mount a bike up there to perform the work. I believe there is a pump that comes as an addition to that that'll be installed so that you can verify that you have plenty of air in your tires to ride. These are pretty common in a lot of other spots in the country where mountain biking has become very popular. And certainly the work that Outdoor Sports Institute does in our community through them and Katahdin Area Trails and the Gear Library, really building on these mountain bike trails. It's incredible work and it's really exciting to have them here doing that. So the last on my list from my updates are the release of the first edition of the Magic City Monthly, which many people have seen and responded to, was very well received by the community. The goal of this is to produce initially a monthly newsletter that is distributed directly from the source of all the great things happening. And I'm sure sometimes the hard things happening from the town office, from the municipal staff, from our department heads, and get them straight from the source out to the community themselves. We'll be using this communication platform moving forward for, important updates, email blasts. Eventually, we'll be able to use a text messaging feature similar to what the school uses in situations of school cancellation. Volunteer sign-up forms have been made through that and posted on our website that we'll be sharing more often. And we encourage anyone and everyone who lives in our community to either stop by the town office to share your email or contact information to receive this communication, or our link has been shared social media and through our website, where folks can sign up on their own to receive these correspondences through email. The idea is to encourage as much engagement from the community as possible. We want to see more people involved, more people informed, and more people engaged, so that we have everybody on the same page with the same information. Moving down into the departments, I'll keep these high level, and I will remind folks that the full report is available on the town council section of the website. With Public Works, they've been working hard on getting all the paving jobs done, coordinating with the paving companies, fixing the streets and sidewalks as allowed by what was put into the budget for spending on that. They're also working diligently as of the past few days to get our new wayfinding signs installed throughout the town. That was a long-standing partnership project with the Northern Forest Center that began over 3 years ago and has been through so many hands on the process. And it's such an exciting thing to see these signs finally posted. They're beautiful, formative. I think they're going to be a great asset to our community. Oh, bless you. Yes. I'll also mention that, we have our seasonal cemetery crew out there 40 hours a week, every day, keeping up with the mowing and the weed whacking and the maintenance, and even some volunteers working on repairing those gravestones and the neglected sites up there. And that property is looking incredible. I hope that everybody appreciates the hard work from those crews. The town treasurer is working diligently on the year-end close on preparation for our fiscal audit, which will start taking place in September. With wastewater, they are, as they say, keeping the plumbing humming, and the rate that this crew removed the total suspended solids, you can imagine what that is 96% or higher, and the rate, the cleanliness rate of what is then dispersed back into the river is almost entirely pure. It just baffles me constantly to understand what that system entails and the people that run it. They're incredible at what they do, and are always willing to remind the public not to flush wipes, paper towels, grease, plastics, Q-tips, anything. They cause awful plugs within that sewer system, and human beings have to crawl down in there and pull that out. It's not a clean or fun job to do. You would not like to do it yourself. Hope that you understand the reason why we continuously remind the community of this. The always exciting life of the Millinock Municipal Airport. The traffic over this summer has increased and been great. Jeff and his team out there are servicing all types of aircrafts from private jets, to the light flight helicopters, private jets, the Maine Forestry Service, the National Guard. You know, they service the planes, they meet and greet, they, provide jet fuel and aviation fuel. They do an incredible job over there. They're supporting the skydiving operations, from the jump and raft crew. And are making great use of the new, Coyote tractor that we were able to purchase within this year's budget. Making an incredible improvement to the amount of time that it takes to mow that property. From the previous equipment that we had used, to the new equipment, the timeline has gone from taking an entire month of full days to mow that property to doing it in about 1 week. So very much worthwhile investment there. And then he was able to put our new airport snow blower in the 4th of July parade, which got a lot of really great attention. And you know, I think he really enjoyed getting to drive that through town. It's an incredible machine. The assessor is working on preparation for tax commitment when we have budget finalized in full, both town and school, and making sure that the evaluation adjustments are taking place. And we have some additional time now in her work schedule to start really updating into the account records that we have that have been tied up in other longstanding issues for a few years now. Evan, our code enforcement officer, has recently passed yet another test. This time the licensed plumbing inspection test. The achievements that he has made on the road to his full certification as code enforcement officer over the past several months have been, they've just been outstanding. All while working diligently to make it through the ever-growing list of property maintenance complaints, requests for action, I like to say, throughout the community. So he's doing an incredible job, and we're very lucky to have him and his willingness and his drive to learn that position. With the recreation department, we recently heard about the pool, but on a more positive note, there was a very successful trip to Acadia Fun Park. They were able to take just under 70 local kids to a really great amusement park out on the coast with several chaperones very successfully, and they all had a wonderful time. Our community initiatives director had worked so very, very hard to lead the effort on the first edition of our newsletter, which will come out towards the end of each month, recapping and looking forward. Of course, there was work on the ARPA survey that we spoke about earlier, and she is diligently working grant funding applications and seeking out new grant funding for very big projects that we're looking forward to announce coming months. In the world of our town clerk and tax collectors, we're making progress on unpaid taxes. We are looking at from the 21-22 taxes, we are down to about 116,000 unpaid. And those that have been paying attention for the past several months understand that that is a pretty big improvement. Do have a number of delinquent accounts that will be touring into liens. We do have a note here that on our August 1st, nomination papers for council seats and school board seats will be available. There is there are 3 school board seats available. Coming up in November, there are 2 3-year terms, and there is 1 for the remainder, the final 1 year of a 3-year term. And there are 2 3-year council terms coming up. So, you know, if you're interested in participating in municipal government, it's a blast. I recommend taking out papers to run for those positions. Again, speaking about the departments and the employees themselves, the ladies that run that front office and take the brunt of the interaction from the community do an incredible job. And they represent us so well. Just very pleased to work with them. And I always thank them for the great work that they do in there. So in the fire, ambulance, public safety, Tom is on vacation this week and he is excused from this. I had put some notes on here myself. And they are, you know, responding to calls as usual. There are the new positions posted. One recent new hire, we were able to hire Aaron Lee, who formerly worked with Medway Fire EMS Department. We're very happy to have him. I understand he's fitting in very nicely, doing a great job. Chief Malcolm is also working in partnership with the Granite Street Parent Teacher Organization to pull off a back to school school supplies kind of shopping, free shopping activity where there's going to be plenty of free quality school supplies up for grabs for any of the kids in our community, as well as an opportunity to climb all over the fire trucks and have some hot dogs and maybe some sodas. And I do just want to offer that whole crew a very, very sincere appreciation. They do show up constantly and they work in emergency situations to support our families, our loved ones on a daily basis. So to me, directly from them, I'd like to offer. The police report is attached. It is many of recurring themes, mental health, drug arrests, overdoses. No, I don't remember an overdose in there. And then there's some mention in there of needed repairs that were taken care of on vehicles and 1 new vehicle. There's also mention of 1 new full-time hire, 1 new part-time hire, familiar face and a familiar name that many people would know. His name is Todd Phillips. He was added to the team as a part-time officer, and I just looking forward to see his smiling face, show up and walk through the building. So congratulations to the new employees there. I've also attached the library report, which documents a lot of great news with new employees and new programming, including community mountain bike rides, which I actually participated in last night and had an incredible time. I had a really fun time riding around with those guys, and other activities like community walks and things. So I'd really recommend folks check out the library activities a lot more and get engaged with that. These community activities are a whole lot of fun and don't usually see a very big turnout. So please check it out. That will conclude my report for the evening, and I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Any council comment on the manager? Wow, I think I remember this. Council McEwen.
No, just thank you for the report. A lot of positive things going on, and especially seeing that community blast going out with the department deep dives and such. It's good to see. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councilor Craig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Having looked through the entire agenda and orders that we've got coming up and into the manager's report and from the various departments, I just want to raise a couple of concerns. I'm going to go to the town clerk, city clerk, the town clerk's report in reference to delinquent taxes. 99 delinquent taxes, 117,000, personal state, real estate personal property balance of 116,000 still remains outstanding. We talked tonight, which we agreed that 89,000 for the swimming pool. We're going to have an order for 52,000 for the airport. We're increasing legal fees by 40,000. That comes out to 412,000. And as the treasurer reports, we got $661,000 in extra revenue sharing monies coming in. That equals 66.4% of the additional revenues that we're expecting from revenue sharing this year. I'm just a little concerned in reference as we go forward with other issues, resolving the $203,000 concerns that we have with one of the departments. That brings us up to equal to what we are already expecting in additional revenues. We're running a very tight line on revenues going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Prey. Anyone else? Seeing none. Mr. Manager, thank you again for another very concise report. I appreciated the fact that this time in the report, too, we had the department heads and the department reports in here. There were a couple of things that I had wanted to ask about. One, I want to go ahead and first say that the new newsletter that has come out with work of the community initiative director I thought that was fantastic. I read down through that. I thought that was very informative. I thought where the department heads contributed was very good. I think it's just more of the town government having the transparency, sharing with the public all the information, all the good and bad necessarily that's going on with the town. But I thought it was a very uplifting letter and I appreciated it very much. You did moving that forward. As far as the police report, always kind of, I appreciate so much that they're here. I wanted to mention too, I saw that their letter to the county commissioners as far as the situation with jails and how much they need to try to go ahead and get either updated or new facility built to try to go ahead and alleviate some of the problems that are happening right now with people being released that simply don't have any room for them. I hope that somehow gets noticed by the commissioners that could be worked on and resolved in more expedient than it has been in the past. As far as the rest of the report is concerned, very well done. I thank you very much, and I'll open it up to the public. Any comment on the manager's report? Yes. Name and address, please.
Hi, Sandy Sullivan, 104 Sunset. And I would just like to say, maybe one of the unintended benefits of the newsletter. I graduated a few years ago, and many of my friends have dispersed all over the country. They saw the newsletter on my Facebook, and you have fans from all over the country now that Millmarket was my home. I am so glad to be able to keep in touch with Millmarket through the newsletter.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Yes.
Jameson, 14 Russia Boulevard. I just wanted to add a little more info about the PTO event, if I could, because I'm really excited about it. And I just wanted to say that we have so much stuff to give away. We're just giving it away. Come get what you want, come get what you need. Just like basic school supplies, but also some fun stuff that kids like to have. The PTO just wanted to make sure that money that we didn't anticipate having to go into the next school year. We just want to make sure that all of that goes right into the hands of the kids that are going to school. So it's open. It's not just Granite Street. I mean, any student can come get what they need. But I'm just really excited about that. So there's a lot of stuff. I hope that we don't have anything left over, but if we do, I think it's going to be handed over to the library to be like a distribution center for any leftovers that, August 20th, I think. Yeah. So, that's all.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the group organization, yourself included, that is doing this for the students, kids here in the town. I think that's fantastic and appreciate the effort. Anybody else? Seeing none, we'll move on. Counselor Danforth, could I please get you to read Order 208-2022?
I will try. Let's try this again. Okay, order number 208-2022, providing for appointments to the Millinocket School Board. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council appoints Thomas Malcolm and Julie Hughes to the Millinocket School Board for a term to expire November 2022, as two vacancies have resulted with the resignations of Erica Mackes and Michelle Brendette.
Moved by Counselor Danforth, second by Counselor Prey. Any council discussion? Counselor Bragg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank everybody who had interviews. It's not every day that people sign up to be in municipal government. So I appreciate everybody that signed up for it. I personally will be abstaining from this. I don't think it's fair. I wasn't at the interviews. I don't think I should have a say. But again, I wanted to thank everybody that came out to the interviews and participated. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I would also like to thank everybody that put their name in for interest in the school board and these vacancies. I think it speaks volumes, the amount of volunteerism that we have within our community and how it's nice to have a cross-section of Millinocket go ahead. And we had a good slate of candidates, and I'm very, very happy with the whole turnout. Saying that, we now go for a vote on Order 208-2022. Oh, we're sorry, to the public. Anybody from the public? No, seeing none. All right, back, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of Order 208-2022? Opposed? Abstained? Order passes 402. Now, if we could, I see we have one of the people, and Diana is ready to swear you in. So if Mrs. Hugh could please come forward. Yep.
Yes. You're gonna be standing directly in front of them.
Thank you.
You just want to repeat after me, or would you like to read?
No, I'll repeat. Sorry, but
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Yeah.
And this appointment is for the term to expire November of 22. That I solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and will obey the laws of the United States
and will obey the laws of the United States
and of the state of Maine,
and of the state of Maine,
and that I will in all respects
and that I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the charter
observe the provisions of the charter
and ordinances of the town of Millinocket,
and ordinances of the town of Millinocket,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of school board.
the duties of the office of school board.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
And when Mr. Malcolm is back from vacation, he will go ahead and also be sworn in. One would think so, yes. All righty. Getting back to our regular agenda, Counselor Bragdon, could I please ask you to read order 202-2022?
Order number 202-2022, providing for execution of the prior year town warrants for July 28th, 2022. It is ordered that the town warrant for July 28th, 2022 in the amount of $183,014 is hereby approved.
Second.
I will slide over to Counselor McEwen though and ask if there's any heavy hitters.
Certainly. Yes, $3,217.50 for Bloomer and Russell, PA, that's legal. $9,723.22 municipal review committee for tipping fees. $8,128.32 for Versant Power. For power. Electric Light Company, that's for the new traffic cam, and that was $26,500. And $128,667.25 for Elm Street State Utilities.
Thank you. Any council comment? Down to the public? Back to the council. All those in favor? It's unanimous. Councilor McEwen, can I please have you read order 203-2022?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, order number 203-2022, providing for execution of the prior year wastewater warrant for July 28, 2022. It is ordered that the wastewater warrant for July 28, 2022 in the amount of $164,881.78 is hereby approved.
Second.
Motion made by Council McEwen, and seconded by Council Bragdon. Heavy hitters, Council McEwen? And the heavy hitters on that one, 3,170 for Clearwater Laboratory testing, $12,706.86 for Oliver Associate Engineering, and $144,557.67 for T-Buck Construction. Thank you. Any council comment? Down to the public? Seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor? Passes unanimously. Back into your wheelhouse, Councilor McEwen. Can I have you please read order 204-2022? Yes, Mr. Chairman, order number 204-2022, providing for execution of the town warrant for July 28, 2022. It is ordered that the town warrant for July 28, 2022 in the amount of $108,400.35 is hereby approved.
Second.
And noting the heavy hitters by $55,945.74 for Bangor Savings of the Arcadian loan payment, $2,656.61 on Maine Municipal Association for unemployment, $27,386.28 for Maine Municipal Association workers comp, $5,337.82 municipal review committee for tipping fees, $2,928.75 New England salt, and that is for public works salt for the winter. Thank you. Any council comment? Down to the public? Seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor? 6-0, thank you. Last one, Councilor McEwen, would you please read order 205-2022? Yes, Mr. Chairman, order number 205-2022, providing for execution of the wastewater warrant for July 28, 2022. It is ordered that the wastewater warrant for July 28, 2022 in the amount of $8,144.04 is hereby approved. Sorry. Motion made. Okay, go right ahead. And the heavy hitters on that one is $2,432.52 workers comp for MMA and $4,399.95 Versant Power for more power. Thank you. Thank you. Any council comment? Comment from the public? Seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor? It's unanimous. Council Pelletier, could I please get you to read order 206-2022?
Order 206-2020. Providing for public hearing for approval of an application for a malt continuous liquor license for Hotel Paris / Jimmy's Lounge. It is ordered that the attached application for a malt continuous and spirituous liquor license by approved for James Lawrence, GNI 52 Medway Road, Millinock, doing business as Hotel Terrace, Jimmy's Lounge, 52 Medway Road, Millinock.
Second. Motion made by Councilor Pelletier, seconded by Councilor McEwen. Any council discussion? Councilor Bragg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to point out that Jim and Inez have done a fantastic job revamping the inside of that. for those who didn't get to go to the soft opening, it looks beautiful on the inside and they're trying really hard to provide for everybody. Everybody was really excited. They didn't have the capacity for staffing to keep everybody, but they are working diligently to make it something that people can go to and have a great time. So I applaud them for putting in the work that they did.
Thank you. Any other council comment? I'd just like to say, I think it's wonderful when people will go ahead and invest in the community and try to go ahead and keep some of these businesses afloat. And certainly, I wish them all the luck going forward on this. Any other council comment? Public? Yes.
Diana Lakeman, Town Clerk. I do want to make sure everybody knows that they did have a soft opening, and if somebody, correct me if I'm wrong, do they continue to stay open for that soft opening? I'm sure Councilor Bragg can verify, but they are still currently open and serving, correct?
Now, I'm sorry, they had some staffing issues. They are currently working to address them. They do plan on opening for lunch and breakfast at some point, but until they find more staff, it's not feasible for them to stay open. They want to give the best customer service possible.
Thank you for the clarification.
That seems to be a recurring theme on a lot of small businesses within the town of Millinocket, to be able to go ahead and continue to have staffing. And hopefully there'll be something that'll be rectified. We'd like to go ahead and get some of these businesses open and be able to get some people in there. So if you are out and about and looking for a job, certainly there are plenty of opportunities in downtown Millinocket and around the area. That's my ad. I'm trying to get going forward. All right. Any public comment on, any other public comment on order 206? Seeing none, all those in favor of order 206? Opposed? Abstained? 5-1. Thank you. 501, yeah. Councilor Prey, can I get you to read order 207-2022?
Order 207 dash 2022, providing for approval of application for an entertainment license for Hotel Terrace Jimmy's Lounge. It is ordered that the attached application for an entertainment license is hereby approved for James Lawrence, 364 Katahdin Avenue, Millinocket, doing business as Hotel Terrace Jimmy's Lounge, 52 Medway Road, Millinocket.
Second. Motion made by Councilor Prey, second by Councilor McEwen. Any council comment? Public? Back to the council. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Order carries 501. Councilor Danforth, if I could get you to please read order 209-2022.
Yes, order number 209-2022, providing for amendment to order number 87-2022, acceptance of airport terminal bid match. Whereas the Sustainability Committee received 3 bids for the airport terminal RFP, and the following 2 were considered qualified bids: Arcadia Design Works, $243,300, and AVS Engineering, $136,000. And whereas the Arcadia Design Works bid was selected by the Sustainability Committee, and whereas the Northern Border Regional Commission grant will cover 80% of the total project cost and will provide a notice to proceed once the agreement with updated numbers is submitted and funds are identified for the local match, it is therefore ordered that the town council accepts the bid from Arcadia Design Works for $243,300 and authorizes the town manager to sign any additional agreements to complete the NRBC grant for the airport terminal engineering and design phase. It is further ordered that $52,147.80 will be held in the unassigned fund balance for the 20% local match for said project.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Danforth, second by Councilor Bragdon. Mr. Manager? Turn mine on? If you could please.
Friendly over
Yeah, so there were some points of confusion once we had selected the bid for this engineering and design for the new airport terminal. the bulk of it is that bids came back lower than expected. And the way that played into the original allotment, we had to adjust the budget several times with the Northern Border Regional Commission. And what hadn't been included is some administrative costs that are necessary and non-negotiable that cover the administration of the grant that will be done by Vicky Rustbalt through Eastern Maine Development Corporation. So we had to change the budget roughly by about $6,000. Now that we have this hopefully approved amendment to the order, we will have notice to proceed on work so that we can get the engineering done. Side note on this, we are working on identifying other outside funds and are hoping to have that lined up so that we don't actually use this pot of unassigned fund balance to pay for this. We have other alternatives. We, as a formality, needed to identify it for the application process. Once we have notice to proceed, we can get the design work in motion, get the design, and then use that design for hopefully our congressionally directed spending to build the new terminal, which will be transformative for our town.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. I want to point out too that I believe we are on both, that airport terminal project is on the radar for both King and Collins's. Wish list.
That is correct. They have both Senator King and Senator Collins have passed the airport terminal build project through. And then we also have an application that was pushed through by both King and Collins for a revamp of the downtown area, which will rebuild the sidewalks, make them all ADA compliant, replace all the lighting fixtures, and a few other things. So if a year from now, we could be seeing some very, very major improvements to both our airport and our downtown corridor.
Oh, that's wonderful. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Any other council comment? Yes, Councilor Craig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'm supportive of this order, but I'm a little concerned about the process. The process of having committee of the council putting out bids and seeking bids. I think those should go through the manager, and the manager should put them out to the council, and the committee should make recommendations to the council as a whole. And obviously, we've all been well aware of this particular one, but if we have several committees going out for various bids and getting receiving bids back, there's a kind of an implied commitment that all of these things, I think they need to be put in perspective as we proceed forward. And I think this is something the council itself should address at another time as to how to establish that process for that, so that we have some degree of a greater fiscal control of all the activities that are going on. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't disagree. Any other council comment? Now going down to the public. Seeing none. All those in favor of order 209-2022? It's unanimous. Thank you. Councilor Bragdon, can I please get you to read order 210-2022?
Order number 210-2022. I tried. Providing for acceptance of wastewater truck bid, it is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council accepts the bid of a 2023 Chevrolet Silverado double cab for $40,970 from Katahdin Motors in Millinocket. Two bidders responded as follows: Katahdin Motors, $40,970 for a 2023 Chevrolet Silverado double cab within specs of RFP. and then Pelletier Ford for $39,500 used, 2022 F-150 XL Super Cab with 32,750 miles. No. It is the joint recommendation of the town manager and the wastewater superintendent to award this bid to Katan Motors. This bid is slightly higher than that of Pelletier Ford and and the delivery date is currently unknown. However, the truck is brand new and will be serviced locally, supporting a local business and will prove to be less costly overall.
Motion made by Councilor Bragdon, seconded by Councilor Cray. Council discussion. I like the idea of supporting a local business. The cost differential between the two vehicles was not that great, and it's a new vehicle. But again, I like the idea of having service and being able to support a local business with this. So I'll open it up now to public. Seeing nothing. Back to the council. All those in favor of order 210-2022? Opposed? No, 6-0. Councilor McEwen, can I ask you to read order 211-2022?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, order number 211-2022, providing for approval to increase FY 22 legal services budget. Whereas the unspent FY 22 legal services budget is $3,544, and there is an unpaid bill for $24,074.50 for the hydro assessment. And whereas the account R0101-0900, general government state municipal revenue sharing, is $661,205 favorable to the FY 22 budget. It is ordered that $40,000 is transferred from R0101-0900, general government state municipal revenue sharing to the FY 22 legal services budget E0111-4003. Note, the $40,000 transfer will provide budget for the $24,075.50 invoice and $15,925 contingency for any unknown FY 22 invoices.
Motion made by Councilor McEwen, seconded by Councilor Pelletier. Council discussion. Everybody is reading dramatically right along with it. It's just another one of those adjustments that we have to make in the course of the year that pop up now and then. Thank you, everybody, especially Mr. Manager, for being on top of this. I'll open it up to the public then. Any public comment? Seeing none. All right, on order 211-2022, all those in favor? And it's unanimous. Thank you. All right, reports and committees and communications. The warrant committee for August 11th, 2022 council meeting will be Councilor Pelletier and Councilor Gray. All set. Thank you. Chair committee report. Who's got one? Nobody. Oh, Councilor Bragdon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just realized while we were reading the orders, I got an email back from somebody. I had a typo in the email I just sent. The events committee will be meeting. We will not be meeting on the 2nd. We'll be meeting on the 9th. I'm trying to get some space at the library to meet for that. But we will be hosting it in person and on Zoom. So we will be talking about some wonderful things, including the cruise and flying at the airport, Halloween, and some other things that are to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bragdon. I look forward, Councilor Bragdon, to you sharing with the full council some of the things that's coming up. I think your committee's done a great job in doing a little bit of a deep dive into activities in the area, and I thank you for it. Any other chair reports? Seeing none. All right, now we're up to the 2-minute public comment section of our meeting. So if we have anybody, and yes, come right up. Name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Sandy Sullivan, 104 Sunset Drive. And I would like to thank the town manager and the council for their efforts in trying to negotiate a school budget with someone who now I feel had his own agenda. You beat your head against a brick wall. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeking a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Counselor Bragdon, second by Counselor Pelletier, rather not enthusiastically. All those in favor? It's passed unanimously. Thank you all very much.